Hi, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about Bunny by Mona Awad. Now, let me just start by saying, like, halfway through this book, I had no idea what was going on. And I think that that is the case for a lot of people that have read this book based on what I'm seeing online. So I first want to start off with like how I found out about this book because it was through TikTok. And this is the first book I've seen on TikTok that I've actually bought and have read. And let me just say, it's good. It's a good book. I did not expect for me to like totally enjoy it the way I did, but I did, even though I didn't know what was going on. So let's just dive right into it. This book follows Samantha. She goes by Sam, and she is this girl who is in her master's writing program at her university, and she's kind of like the outcast of her cohort, specifically in that it's like another group of girls and her. It's like four other girls and Samantha, and the four girls like don't include her in anything, and she's like kind of mean when she talks about them in the beginning, which is really fascinating because she actually ends up falling into this group and they accept her and stuff gets crazy. Basically, you kind of see how Samantha's life changes with this group. They go by, but they call themselves the Bunnies, and they call each girl in this group Bunny. So that's where the title is coming from. But this is also like a foreshadow to why they call themselves the Bunnies. They are almost like a cultish sort of group. They're crazy. um, so as Samantha falls and starts to become friends with them, they start introducing her into this bunny culture. So they have this thing called workshop where they're not really workshopping their work like you think they would since they're English students in their master's program. Really, they're creating work in a way that's like very different, and I don't want to spoil it. But let's just say if you're not a fan of bunnies and rabbits, you're kind of happy with what they do to them. They kill them. They kill a bunch of rabbits. Not really kill. Okay, they don't kill the rabbits. They turn them into people. So like they can manipulate using some sort of magic that you think it's magic while you're reading it. But basically, they turn bunnies into people, and part of Samantha's initiation is to turn a bunny into a person. She like goes out, captures a bunny, but the bunny runs away, and she doesn't really do it. Um, that I won't shed any more light on because that is very important towards the end of the novel. But as Samantha is fitting with this group, we see that her narration style in the beginning, because it is a first person narration, really starts to fall apart and we kind of start to trust her less, which I think is really interesting and really smart on the part of the writer of Mona Awad in this book because like Samantha is an English student. She's writing her thesis in English. So it's really interesting that we can see how her writing or Samantha's internal voice really starts to shift as she starts to become under the influence of the bunnies and under the influence of the drugs that they give her because they actually like take these little pills all the time apparently, and because they're doing it like they take stuff every day, we really start to see Samantha just fall apart. And that's why I say, like, halfway through the book, I didn't know what was going on because she starts to become like a really unreliable narrator. And she starts to, like, there's one point in the book where she's having a conversation with a friend and there's no quotation marks around what they're saying. And it's very much like a Sally Rooney sort of little nod, kind of. Like, I would say, like, it's like Sally Rooney wrote a section, but her characters were like totally unconscious. Um, that doesn't make any sense, but if you've read a Sally Rooney book, like you know, she doesn't use any quotations around anyone what anyone says. So you're kind of guessing. You have to like, but Sally Rooney makes sense. Samantha, the character, doesn't make any sense. And like there's no way for me to describe how she doesn't make any sense without like not making any sense. Um she's crazy. Yeah. Um it all unfolds for Samantha and it's just like not good. It does not unfold well for her. Basically, at the end of the book, I put it down and I was like, what did I just read? Because genuinely, I thought that the videos I saw of this book on TikTok, like a month before I bought it, had let me down. I thought I had been let down. But let me tell you, if you Google the ending, it makes a lot of sense. And it makes so much sense that you're like, how did I miss that? But then it also has that element of like, should it have been that confusing for me? Probably not. Like, I missed a lot of little details. So I'd say if you're going to read it, pay attention to the little details because you will need them. Like, I read this over multiple weeks. Like, I only read a little bit here and there. And I don't think that that is the best way to consume this novel because then you forget little details that turn out to be really important for this book. So, yeah, I'll just say that about Bunny. Um, I think I would end up rating it like 4 out of 5 stars because the writing style and the way that Samantha falls apart, both as a character and as a narrator, is really interesting and something I really enjoy, and something that, like, when I read, I really like that. Because then you see not only her external conflict, but also that conflict that's happening inside. And it's really eye opening, especially as someone who like really loves reading. It's a nice, fresh sort of take on a first person narration. So for that, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. Um, yeah, it really keeps you guessing. Did not expect it to end the way it did, but that's also because, like I said, like I missed so many small details because I read it over such a long period of time. Um, yeah, I did enjoy it though, and it's quite good. If you're looking for a book that kind of makes you think a little, is a little crazy, this is the one. It was also my introduction to the genre of dark academia, which is something I had never really read before. So I think it was really cool to read this one because when I was going through, like, trying to figure out what genre this book would be, I came across dark academia, and a lot of people actually said, like, this is a really good case of a dark academic novel. So, dark academia is a genre of novel, movie, lots of different content that, of course, has a fixation on the academics, on someone going to school, or, you know, someone in the academic sphere, also academic institutions. But there's also like the element of being an outsider apart from an elite group, an elite established group in the institution. So for this one, we have Sam, and she's coming in, and she doesn't really have the same background as the bunnies because they're all rich, and she describes herself as like good, but not from the same wealth. Like, these are ultra rich girls, not from the same wealthy background as the rest of these girls. She's coming in, she's not accepted. She gets accepted into the group, they absorb her. She starts to fall apart, and she realizes, yeah, I'm not like them because they're kind of crazy. And normally, these dark elite groups, there's like violence, kind of cultish. The first thing that's like coming to my brain right now is like Riverdale, when Jughead goes to a new school and there's like an actual murderous cult at this school. So, yeah, very crazy. But I have to say, if you're interested in that sort of dark trope of an outsider in an elite cultish group, this is the way to go. The writing, amazing. The narration, absolutely stunning because it tells more of a story than the actual story to me, which I think is so cool. Definitely a different, fresh little take. Um, yeah, if you are going to get a book from TikTok, this would be the one I would suggest, because everything else I've seen just is not something I would be interested in. But this is actually really good. And if you're someone like me who really enjoys contemporary fiction, talking about like Sally Rooney, and I really enjoy Emily Henry. Also, like Kazuo Ishiguro is good. Haruki Murakami, like they're all really good authors and people that would gravitate towards more their work more than something like this. This is still really good, and it definitely incorporates like a Murakami sort of the way he integrates fantasy into real life. Like this does a great job of doing that. So yeah, I highly recommend. More of a YA novel than an adult novel, but it's okay. It's good. So I will see you next time. Yeah, if you like the video, subscribe, maybe like it. That could be cool. And I'll see you next time. Bye.